Day 10 of Nano, back to regularly scheduled programming. Alright, it's just before 10 o'clock, running a little late to work. I'm not sure how many words I'm going to be able to get done while I'm here at the office today, but we're going to try to make things happen. We got a lot of ground to catch up after the last 2 days, so we got to keep our heads high and got to keep trucking. Alright, so it's leaving work time, and I hope your guys' Nano is going a lot better than mine has the past couple of days. Been really distracted, not really in the mood to write, and just kind of lost a little bit. It's not to do with anything in my story. It has to do with real life events, as many of you I'm sure know. It hasn't gone great. I think it's a really good time during week 2 to talk about what it is and why we're doing Nano. From what I understand, the second week of Nano is usually the hardest. Some people call it the week of despair. So it's not just what's going on in the world right now. It happens every year. All right, so let me explain. It's currently 9:30, a little bit later than 9:30 actually. What happened was I left work and then I went and got some Costco shopping done, and then I ate, and then I sat down to watch just a little bit of TV. And a little bit of TV turned into a little bit more TV than I had planned on. Yeah. So anyways, we're still trying to truck along. I have wrote some tonight, which is a vast improvement over yesterday and a slightly better improvement over 2 days ago, where I wrote just a little bit. I'm not back on track yet. I'm still going to be playing catch up. I'm about 4,000 words behind, starting with my word count right now, and that isn't great, but I also know that I can write 4,000 words in a day. We can still make this happen, and we will make this happen. Like I was saying earlier, week 2 is a hard week. It's an especially hard week in 2016, but it is always a hard week. So why did I decide I wanted to do Nano? So I think that I'm going to take this concept of why I decided to do Nano and make 3 videos with it. Today I'm going to explain why I'm doing Nano in the most literal sense. Tomorrow I want to talk about being a writer. And the day after that, I want to talk about belief in yourself as an individual who creates. So today, why did I decide to do Nano? As many of you know, this is my first time doing Nano, and if you didn't know that, first year. I've known about Nano for a long time. There was a part in my life where I wasn't entirely sure what I wanted to be or what I wanted to do, but I knew that I liked to tell stories, and I knew I could do that for super cheap. I didn't have a lot of money. I didn't have a lot of extra cash for hobbies or activities, but I knew I liked to tell stories. So I got my library card, dusted that off, and I went to the local library and I started looking at books about writing. One of the books I found was No Plot, No Problem. I can link it down below. It was written by one of the guys who started Nano, actually, and that's kind of how I found out about National Novel Writing Month. Now, strict novel writing and writing prose in general has never been what I thought my strong suit was. I got into writing in the later part of my life. I loved writing as a kid. Once I got into my teenage years, I had a little bit forgotten about it, just doing stuff for English class. But once I got back into it, got into writing again through screenplays. I mean, I saw the book, I did some research on it because I thought it was pretty cool, the concept of NaNoWriMo, but I never really thought about it because I didn't fancy myself a novelist. Fast forward some years, I went to school, I ended up getting a degree in English with a concentration in creative writing, with a sub-concentration in screenwriting that I kind of made up on my own, but had support from faculty, which was really cool. And I wrote a lot, and I worked a bunch of really bad jobs and made it. I had some extra money here and there, but I wrote, and that's what I wanted to do. And I wrote screenplays, and I wrote pilots, and I just wrote down ideas. And I did that for a few years, and it was fine. I wrote a lot. I wrote a lot less than I probably could have, not having other responsibilities and working the hours that I worked. I probably could have wrote more. I could have been more productive, and I could have put more effort into it. But I was writing, even if it was only once or twice a week, even if I wasn't producing or finishing things or like a ton of stuff that I was super proud of, I wrote. And that at least made my heart feel in the way that I wanted it to feel, like I was trying to make something happen. All right, so here comes the dark part of the story for 19-year-old Aaron. Although really, I love my job and I love the career that I switched into, and 19-year-old me would not hate it in the least bit. I feel like you have to say that because like your 19-year-old self hates like when you sell out in corporate, whatever. Anyways, back on track. Fast forward a couple of years of doing the same thing over and over again and being kind of fed up about not having money, not having enough, not having the ability to do the things that I want to do, like buy this camera and be able to do this like vlog and be able to go on trips and have experiences and live life the way that you want to live. I decided to go back to school. When I went back to school, I went to a super intense coding boot camp, and it was 3 months of my life. For about 3 months before the boot camp, I didn't write. During the boot camp, I didn't write. And then for a couple months after the boot camp, I didn't write. I was starting a new job and things were scary, and you know, sometimes you're just drained from the day. You get home and you just don't have the motivation. And when there's not a deadline to push you, and for me, I saw that me having a job where I can finally like support myself and support others and provide and not have to worry about money took a little bit of the motivation away to write, because the dream was to be able to support myself with that paycheck. So I stopped writing, and I kind of have been on the downslide for writing. Even though I hadn't written 6 months, it had been a long time since I'd done it seriously and really tried to like nail something down. So that's why I'm doing Nano. It was September of this year. I decided that I was going to start writing again. And I looked at a calendar and I noticed that November was coming up. And I had talked to a friend, and he had thought about getting into writing. He said he wanted to write a book before he turned 30. And I thought, NaNoWriMo. So I pitched it to him as him doing it, and then kind of said, well, I'll do it too. And then I jumped in full force. I'm doing NaNoWriMo because I feel like I had lost the part of myself when I'd stopped writing, and I wanted to reclaim that. I think now's a really important time if we're starting to fall behind, if we're starting to lag, if we're starting to lose days because of whatever reason. It's a really important time to sit back and think to yourself about why you decided to do Nano in the first place. What brought you here? What got you to day 2? What got you to day 1? And think about that and see if that can't get you to day 30, and if it can't get you to 50,000 words. If you have to, write to yourself. Tell yourself why you're doing it. Put it in the document that you're writing your novel in, right there in the middle. I don't care. Just find a way to push through. It's still early. We can still make it. We can still make up the word count. We've had good days. We've had bad days. We'll have more good days, and we'll have more bad days. But we can still make it. We just have to keep our eyes on the prize and just keep trucking at it. All right, guys, I gotta try to get more words on this page. I can't finish the night with only like 400 words. So I'm gonna start trucking, and I'll check back at the end of the night and tell you guys where I end up. Pray for me. Pray for me. Hey guys, so it's the end of the night now. It's right before midnight, and I'm done writing for the evening. I put my computer away already, and I don't exactly remember my word count, but I know I'm closer to 14,500 than 14,000, so I made good progress today, like really good progress. I'm proud of that. All we can do is keep writing, even if we're behind, just keep trucking and making up those daily totals little bit by little bit by little bit. I hope you enjoyed this video, guys. I'm sorry about the last couple days and the tone that those took. We're back on Nano, we're back on writing, so I'm happy to be back here, and I'm happy to be putting words on the page again. If you like this video, feel free to hit that like button. As always, if you like to follow along in the journey, you really like what I'm doing here, you can hit the subscribe button down below. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, feel free to leave them in the comments section. Let me know why it is you decided to do Nano this year. If you have any questions about why I decided to do Nano or any of the things that I shared today, feel free to leave them down below in the comments as well. Feel free to share this video. You can share it on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, anywhere you really want to. You can print it out on pieces of paper and share it with your grandmother because she doesn't have the internet if you want. That's not really a thing. I don't think you can do that. Anyways, thanks guys, and I hope you're having a good day. I hope your words are coming. Nope. Anyways, that's all I got for this video. I hope you guys are having a great day. I hope Nano's going super swell for you. I hope every day you just keep getting closer and closer and closer to your goals. If that's 50K, then that's 50K. If it's not, I just hope you get closer and closer. Have a wonderful rest of your night, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Bye.